I know Nate was worried. Nate was like, all I'm telling, here's what I think Nate wanted me to do. Nate,
What?
let me know if I'm wrong. Were you trying to see, Nate, if I could beat? Oh yeah, you're gonna watch the video, right? I
Mm-hmm.
will mute for a bit while I yap, and then let me know let me know what you find.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be back.
All right. Watch some videos, chat.
We'll start as we always do, by disciplining our rambunctious Regisvine with Arlecchino's uninfused basic attacks. Invitation to a beheading.
Invitation to a beheading, huh? Yeah.
Right out of the box, her basic attacks just deal physical damage and are not that effective as a disciplinary tool, although they surprisingly still chunk the Regisvine for a decent amount of health. As for her charged attack, you can actually use it to zoom around, and it's surprisingly fast and long-lasting as well.
Not bad. I haven't tried doing it in the overworld yet, to be honest.
Now, it does come with the unfortunate side effect of draining your stamina, which could earn the Grim Reaper a sudden date with the actual Grim Reaper. Next is Arlecchino's elemental skill. All is Ash. Her skill generates 5 particles and applies the Blood Debt directive onto nearby enemies, which deals a bit of pyro damage every 5 seconds. More importantly, after 5 seconds, the Blood Debt directive turns into a Blood Debt Dew, which is indicated by this shinier icon on the enemy. If Arlecchino uses a charged attack, she'll then absorb the Blood Debt directives and Blood Debt Dews near her.
So you gotta wait 5 seconds. 2, 3.
Absorbing a Blood Debt directive will give her 65% bond of life, whereas absorbing the enhanced Blood Debt Dew provides Arlecchino with 130% bond of life.
Yep. If you wanna wait 5 seconds.
So why does this bond of life even matter? At 30% bond of life or higher, she gains Mask of Red Death.
A lot more damage.
Yep, we've just started showcasing her kit, and the Regisvine is already properly disciplined, aka dead. If there are multiple enemies, she can absorb up to a maximum of 145% bond of life through a single use of her skill. Okay, so this next part is a bit confusing, but try to bear with me.
And that's why I kind of felt like I needed to have a CC'er to group the enemies together. That way I can make sure that I'm getting everybody's blood debt due. That's what I need to do. So if we were looking at a team of Bennett, Kazu, Husting, Cho, Arlecchino, I probably would start the rotation with Arlecchino's skill to place the blood debt due, the blood debt on everybody. Swap out to Kazuha to set up. And he would group everyone together. Sing Cho, skill burst. Or I'll go Bennett. Then Sing Cho skill burst. Now they have Hydro. I come back with Arlecchino. Do the charge attack. I vaporize the charge attack while also getting blood debt due. That's probably the right way to do it.
The bond of life to health bar ratio is 2:1. With 130% bond of life, it takes up 65% of her health bar visually speaking. Arlecchino can also go up to a maximum of 200% bond of life to fill up the bar, but this requires 2 elemental skill uses to achieve, since each elemental skill can only add up to 145% bond of life. Let me know if that made sense to you down in the comments below. And finally, killing an enemy marked by Blood Debt will immediately provide Arlecchino with 130% bond of life, and that will of course count towards the 145% maximum that each skill can provide.
Wait, so he said when someone dies, right? Okay. Arlecchino will gain a granted will be granted a bond of life worth 130% when an opponent to which she herself applied a directive is defeated. After which extends how long her fusion and stuff like that is, right? 5 seconds after directive is applied, Blood Dead do. We know about this one. When absorbed, it will instead grant. Okay.
I'd heard. This is so if you accidentally kill the enemy with the Blood Debt mark, Arlecchino still gains Bond of Life and isn't dead weight for 30 seconds. 30 seconds, you say? Yeah, her skill has an outrageous 30-second cooldown. Fortunately, every hit from her basic attack while in the Mask of the Red Death state will reduce her skill's cooldown by 0.8 seconds, and her burst also resets its cooldown. During the Mask of Red Death, the screen gets dark and she gains Pyro Infusion, and her basic attack multiplier increases significantly. For the math nerds like me out there, her current Bond of Life is multiplied with this Mask of Red Death multiplier listed in her basic attack.
I can't wait to level that up.
Added to her normal attack multiplier. So in this example, her first N1 here has a very impressive multiplier of 403.3%. Attack multiplier, by the way. Every hit during Mask of Red Death causes her Bond of Life to go down by 7.5% of her current Bond of Life when she hits an enemy. So as she hits the enemy with more attacks, her multipliers go down along with her Bond of Life. Once her Bond of Life goes under 30% of her HP, she loses her Pyro Infusion and becomes much less of a terrifying father. As for her AoE, while it's certainly no power washer, it's large for a melee character. It is even able to slightly pull in smaller enemies, which really makes it feel like you're using a scythe. Up next we have her Elemental Burst, Pale Moon Rising. Arlecchino shushes her children, and then importantly it absorbs all nearby blood debts and heals Arlecchino by the amount of Bond of Life that she has, plus some of her attack stat. Unfortunately, it also removes all the Bond of Life from Arlecchino herself. Basically, it's mainly an emergency healing button, although it also does a bit of damage, and it can also be used to reset her E's cooldown.
Okay.
Surely she can't be...
So, it's not something you want to do all the time, of course. It's mostly just a, panic button.
She's so good at disciplining her enemies and have no caveats, right? Well, with this passive, she also gains 40% pyro damage the moment she enters combat. Oh right, and her caveat, she can't be healed.
That's weird, but yeah. Can only be healed through her ult. Yep, while in combat. While in combat. Not when she has her skill active or anything like that. No, just you can't heal her.
Yep, her allies can't heal her in combat. Her burst is the only way for her to heal in actual combat.
It does a lot of healing though.
Fortunately, to mitigate this a little bit, she decided to replace her exploration passive with a defensive passive, which provides her up to 20% damage mitigation at 3000 attack. Her not being able to be healed...
Which is why Bennett's so good, because Bennett gets her to 3k attack. So while she can't heal, she gets a massive defensive buff from using Bennett. So that's why, even though Bennett doesn't heal her, it's still okay to use.
Is crucial for her kit, since otherwise her Bond of Life would be removed by fellow healers. But her not being able to be healed also makes it much more punishing for when she actually does take damage. Fortunately though, she can be healed outside of combat in the overworld, although it will remove her Bond of Life as well. Anyway, let's see how her full kit does against a much stronger
Robot
and
Chicken.
more rambunctious orphan, the Robot Chicken.
They put another mark on her? Oh no, it's gone. Okay.
Now her kit might seem complicated, but in practice, a wise philosopher once said, use skill, wait for shiny X, charge attack to absorb shiny X, swing big fire stick, ouchies. If in pain, use shh. As we can see,
oh my god,
raw power damage, even with just the white tassel, is already very impressive. And just for fun, let's see what she can do if she starts off with 200 Bond of Life.
Ow. The normal attacks do that? You know what? I kind of want to try her with, what's the name of that artifact set? Oh, so let me pull it up. I kind of want to try her with Shimenawa's Reminiscence. When casting an elemental skill, normal charge and punching attack damage increased by 50% damage, although it takes 15 energy from her. It's going to be a little weird because you kind of want that burst available for emergencies. But if you're running a shield, maybe it doesn't matter. If you're running Zhongli, it probably doesn't freaking matter, dude. I'm legitimately might try this. Shimenawa's Reminiscence seems perfect. Cause you get 35. Well, no, that's no. The problem. I know what the problem is. The problem with using Shimenawa's Reminiscence is that you really only get like you have to sacrifice waiting 5 seconds to get the balefire. The balefire. I mean, not the balefire. The shiny X's basically. Because you get 10 seconds of that 50% attack buff that he was talking about. Oh, yeah, that means what the Shimenawa was talking about, and that's kind of annoying. So you're better off just using Gladiator, get the 35% universal buff instead. Yeah, that's probably better. Yeah.
Yep, she's even more insane if she can pre-stack some Bond of Life, which is actually quite practical in the overworld. Her first N1 Hears with 200% Bond of Life has a multiplier of 569%. Yeah, this is a mind-blowing number for a normal attack multiplier. Although getting 200 Bond of Life without her signature weapon is not very practical in the Abyss.
Full party, let's go.
Let's next see how Father does in a full party, starting with an overloaded Chevreuse team.
That's a 57? Wow, that's really good.
Unsurprisingly, effortlessly, comfortably, and oppressively single-cycled our robot chicken friend. But full disclosure, my Chevreuse and Bennett are both at Constellation 6, which provides her with a significant amount of bonus damage. However, trust me bro, this Frappuccino team is still amazing.
Why do they call it Frappuccino?
Because her team is overloaded, like if you had too much Frappuccino coffee. For more amazing jokes like that one, subscribe and like the video.
Failure.
Next
Failure.
we have a vape full party Kino.
Yep. He's basically running what I'm running. He's using Yelan for additional buffs, though. Very interesting. I would probably, on this team, I would not use her. I would probably switch to the, what's the name of the bow? The bow that, gives a, buffs to the team. You know what I'm talking about, right, guys? What's the name of the bow? Let me pull it up. The Elegy, right? We would use Elegy for the end. Since she's the only Hydra on the team, we want to make sure that she can, burst and stuff. Let me see something real quick. I need to find a crit damage bonus piece. Give me a second. Bro, I want to find one later. I'm definitely gonna go in there with let me put this away. Yikes. Insane. Insane damage.
Whale alert! My Kazuha and Yelan are both at Constellation 6, so I did this rotation so that way they're functionally at Constellation 0. Also, my Yelan is built to do almost no damage. This team is entirely reliant on Vapakino's damage, and she did an incredible job here.
That's enough Hydro too.
100,000 damage vapes. Now while testing this, the ICDs were really wonky. Sometimes my first normal attack wouldn't vape, and other times they would vape prematurely. But regardless, Vapakino is still a strong playstyle for her. But admittingly, both Frappakino and Vapakino teams should also be called Squishy Kino, because she is extremely squishy in these teams. Fortunately, we can solve the Squishy Kino team with the Comfy Kino team.
Yeah, Zhongli basically. Basically Zhongli.
Dealing mega PP damage, aka pure pyro damage, this team combines comfort with archaic Zhongli, while still outputting great damage with Bennett and Xiangling. Granted, this still suffers from circle impact because of Bennett, but as we can start to see, Arlecchino is actually surprisingly flexible with her teams. And as per usual I win to lose fashion, let's take Arlecchino out for a new showcase. This time with Sapwood Bennett, Instructors Diona, Thrilling Tales Sucrose, and with an EM build on Arlecchino.
What the heck? 780? He's still so...
780,250
No.
damage from just a single N1. This looks really comical to me because it looks just like a tiny little poke from Arlecchino. Looks like Arlecchino is perfect for disciplining rebellious edgelords like
Hilarious.
Skeleton. But why stop here? I took all three of these teams into the bottom half of the Abyss 12 for literally a single run of each. And here are my results. And, well, they all crushed it. Now,
Let's see. Which one was faster? Frappuccino? Vaporcino? The Electro one, it looks like he did the best with the Overload version. Although they all did very well, actually. Yeah. But he has Chevreuse at C6. I wonder if D1 has a C6 Chevreuse. If he does, he might want to try this team with Fischl as well.
Now, please do not take this as conclusive evidence that any of these teams are better than the others, because massive amounts of RNG went into these runs. Like, for example, I had a great PMA cycle with the Frappakino team. Anyway, all these teams were able to comfortably 9-star Abyss 12 with plenty of time to spare. And all of these runs can be improved drastically. Like for the Vapakino run, I learned a lot more about her vape rotations, which I didn't implement properly throughout the entire run. Anyway, one thing's for certain, both the Frappakino and Vapakino teams were very high-octane teams, where every time I got hit, it was one step closer to losing a lot of DPS. When Arlecchino uses her burst to heal herself, she loses a significant amount of damage for her next rotation, since she needs to spend a lot more field time and she loses the remaining 30% of Bond of Life for the next rotation. In other words, she's a high-risk, high-reward character in the Frappakino and Vapakino teams. Regardless, Comfy Kino still felt great to use and was, well, very comfy. With Zhongli being so damn thick, Arlecchino doesn't have to worry about taking damage.
Yeah, I think it's probably fair to say if it means sacrificing a little bit of damage, if that means you don't have to use the burst as much as possible, that might be worth it. You know what I mean? And Zhongli's shield is kind of crisp. You know, that resistance shred is nice. So you can go Bennett. You can still go Bennett, Zhongli, Arlecchino, and Yelan, right? That's plenty. You don't have Kazuha's massive steroid, but other than that,
nearly as much. Granted, everyone knows that Zhongli is usually a sheet DPS loss. I still think he is incredible with Arlecchino because of the comfort and lack of needing to
because imagine this guy being Kazuha instead, right?
dodge.
Absurd.
Arlecchino's inability to be healed leads to some really interesting dynamics and a unique set of strengths and weaknesses. Against scripted boss fights, it's pretty reasonable to use her with squishy Kino teams. However, once you start fighting aggressive, dangerous, and multiple enemies where it's impossible to practically dodge everything while still outputting near maximum damage, that's where squishy Kino teams start to suffer. Fortunately, Arlecchino is quite flexible when it comes to team building, being great with Overloaded, Vape, and with shields as well. Now you might be a bit dismayed that I've been running her with Bennett this entire time, and frankly, with the white tassel, Bennett is highly recommended. The flat attack buff that Bennett provides is magnitudes better with a low base attack 3-star weapon like the white tassel. Another great trait about Arlecchino is that she is surprisingly flexible with her rotation, much like how flexible we'll need to be when she's stepping on us.
What the
Her
heck?
life isn't timed or anything, unlike pretty much every single other Infusion character. She can swap on and off freely, and also find opportunities to squeeze out extra Bond of Life, which can be dispensed whenever she needs them. This will lead to some very unique and creative play from the player base, and I personally can't wait to see what people come up with. Now I did want to address the question, is she better than Hu Tao or other Pyro DPS characters? Frankly,
Zoinks.
I cannot provide a definitive answer.
Yeah, I can't really tell you
Even
for
though
so
she
far.
feels better to play, not being shackled to the Water Boy or Water Girl, and not needing to frantically input charge attacks with jump room dash cancels. Arlecchino is able to just mash the normal attack button, and then you can focus more on dodging stuff than inputting perfectly timed charge attacks. Also, another neat detail about her is her poor compatibility with Furina. I've always been a fan of when lore accuracy is implemented into a character's gameplay. Not only does Furina make her even squishier, since she cannot be healed by her teammates, this is a major source of fanfare generation that cannot be utilized without large opportunity costs, such as using Arlecchino's burst to heal. Granted, this might not be ideal for players that wanted to use her with Furina. Speaking of Arlecchino's burst, it's also a really interesting
Yeah, I was kind of
design
hoping
that
it
her
would.
burst
She
is
could use
actually
bees
a
on
net
Arlecchino, but
DPS loss. Because of the fact that it removes whatever. This is a major source of fanfare generation.
sorry, I couldn't. I didn't hear what you
that
said.
cannot
Say.
be utilized without large opportunity costs, such as using Arlecchino's burst to heal. Granted, this might not be ideal for players that wanted to use her with Furina. Speaking of Arlecchino's burst, it's also a really interesting design that her burst is actually a net DPS loss. Because of the fact that it removes whatever Bond of Life she has, this means that the next rotation won't actually have the leftover Bond of Life, and thus Arlecchino will do a lot less damage. Still, the burst is far from useless as it is her only way of healing. One thing's for sure though, after using her for a while now, I think she's an incredibly powerful and, most importantly, incredibly fun Pyro DPS character. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. This is I Went to Lose, signing out.
All right. Another thing about her is you know, she's another character that does not. I don't think she has to run Bennett. I don't think she has to run Bennett. So if I really want to, oh, that's a cool picture. I can actually run her on one side of the abyss as a solo Pyro DPS, and then Hu Tao's another solo Pyro DPS on the other side if I want to. I can make it so they don't really share enemies. I mean, really, no. I can make it so they don't share allies. Although I would like to see Yelan on her, Yelan and Kazuha to like really
What up, Jamie?
increase that damage.
Trying
Hey,
out now Zhongli with Furina. No, Zhongli with Yelan and Shincho, and it's probably one of the most fun teams.
yeah, definitely. So, you
What
looking at
did
the
you
video? Just to just some things to keep in track of. Just make sure, like, if you want to get the most out of Arlecchino's, counters that she puts on people. You want to wait 5 seconds so they become enhanced. So,
Wait 5 seconds after you put your E on them.
Yeah. So the best way to do that is just to start off with her in a rotation doing her E, and then swap to your just the supports, to get their bursts and their skills up. Then swap back to her. You'll notice that the X's have gotten more enhanced, still larger visually, and
Cool.
that'll give you more Bond of Life when you eventually charge attack them. Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so definitely reminded me of that. Also, her burst is a DPS loss.
Oh, what?
Her burst is a DPS loss. So
Mm-hmm.
it's preferable to not use her burst unless it's absolutely necessary.
Gotcha.
Which is why shielding is probably what a lot of people are going to do. You know?
Yeah, you're right, JamBuds. Thank you for the tip. Me delaying when I attack and doing my stuff before attacking, and all my supports, all my stuff is like 666. So I know when I
Same.
crown her, it's gonna be dumb.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy damage. Yeah, I'm probably going to
Yeah,
triple crown. I'm probably going to triple crown her, or at least double crown her.
yeah. I have 80 Arlecchino, 80 weapon, and an artifact, gladiator 4 piece.
Mm-hmm.
My details are 68.3 crit rate, 210.2 crit damage, 121 ER, and yeah, I have power damage goblet. About it. 22 HP, 22k. 666 C0 R1. Crazy. What
Yeah.
a day.
That was some good tips there by I Win to Lose Gaming, guys. I am going to. It looks like primordial Jade Winged Spear is her second best weapon.
Free. I have that weapon too.
As always. Arlecchino is a 5-star pyro main DPS unit that cannot be healed by anyone other than herself. This in mind, you're prioritizing the normal attacks, then burst, then skill.
Don't die,
So grab
Dag.
those talent books and the rest of these items, and let's get into those weapons. Now, if you aren't using her signature weapon, Primordial Winged.
I saw. Okay, so this short video is saying deathmatch is a very strong weapon for her. Third best in slot.
Oh, not free to play. Third best. Okay. I don't know why I said free to play. I forgot. That is not free to play. Battle Pass is
Yeah.
to play. BP to play.
Father, Mother, Dommy, Mommy, Arlecchino. Here's an entire guide in under 1 minute. Subscribe, follow, like, and share as always. Arlecchino is a 5-star pyro main DPS unit that cannot be healed by anyone other than herself. This in mind, you're prioritizing her normal attacks, then burst, then skill. So grab those talent
Oh,
books
Sip
and the
Sip
rest of these
Steven.
items, and let's get into those
Or
weapons.
Stefan.
Now, if you aren't using her signature weapon, Primordial Winged Jade Spear is next up, followed by Homa. Scarlet Stands performs
Homa,
extremely
okay.
well, but in vape-only teams. For 4 stars, our trusty deathmatch.
I'm so
or
lucky
even
that I
Olympic
kept
Spear
playing
can be
up until
taken.
the reset,
Free-to-play players should go
because
for
now I get to
R5 White
farm the
Tassel. Arlecchino
enemies
releases with a
that
brand new
drop the
artifact
stuff
set,
that she
Fragment
needs.
of Harmonic Whimsy. Run that with attack or EM Sands, Pyro or attack Goblet, and crit rate or crit damage Circlet. For the Goblet, if you have a lot of percent damage, for example Farina in her signature weapon, then go with attack percent. For those who want to run her day 1, take 4-piece Gladiators or a combination of double 2-piece 18% attack or a 2-piece Crimson Witch. Check out a bunch of these teams though. For Arlecchino, she mainly focuses on Vaporize, Overload, and Mono Pyro. Father, Mother, Dommy, Mommy, Arlecchino. Here's
Gotcha. Okay. Ridiculous character.
This is
man.
like a Hu Tao with AoE attacks.
Actually, kind of true, and no need, and like not nearly as many charge attacks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's actually really comfy. I like this more than Hu Tao any day. As damaging as Hu Tao is, it's not fun when I'm not really able to consistently hit peeps.
Yeah, but you do vape a lot more with Hu Tao though. There is that. So it's hard for me to tell which one is better, to be honest with you, which is probably a good thing because Hu Tao's kind of stupid already, just more difficult to play, and if she's around the same power level, that's probably fine. And Hu Tao's more restrictive, actually, now that I think about it. Like, you just only want to use Hu Tao in Vaporize, right?
Yeah, and I only want to use her mostly in single turns. So.
Yeah, yeah. And,
like, I could hit multiple people, but the grouping would have to be immaculate.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, but she also can use Farina very well, which kind of makes her...
Yeah, she also could, yes.
Yeah, Hu Tao can use Farina very well.
Shan Yun, too, with Yellen.
Yeah, I don't know if Arlecchino, according to I Win to Lose, does not want to use Farina, which is hilarious because they probably shouldn't have worked together after what happened in that story.
Yeah, I mean, it's because she doesn't like the idea is if you use her with Farina, you'd probably need to heal your other supports, so you'd have to go through your, I guess your you know.
Yeah, I guess you could use Jean to heal everybody else. and then that still
Yeah.
gives you fanfare, but it's just like it's kind of convoluted, right? It's like why go to that effort? Like you could just put her on another team that operates her a lot better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Congrats to you, and you enjoy the character. Thank you, brother.
Where is the Braxophone video? Did I get rid of it by accident? I think I did, chat. There it is.
Hey,
There
how
it
are
is.
you?
When I was a young boy,
I'm getting
my
hungry,
father
chat.
abandoned me. This is not a joke.
Oh,
This
going to bed?
actually happened. Now that I am 26 and Arlecchino has taken me under her wing, I understand that my true purpose is to be a weapon. A weapon that will teach you all how to build your Arlecchinos so that
you're
they
getting
can
hungry?
produce more weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, I
Are you
might.
getting hungry?
Yeah, I'm getting hungry. I'm probably gonna have some ramen before I go to bed. Probably gonna have some ramen.
Welcome to my father guide for the fatherless. Target demographic? The whole Genshin fan base. Today, I'm going to be going over what Arlecchino does, what her best artifacts are, and more. My name is BraxaVO, and let's talk about Arlecchino.
Goodness.
Yep, that's exactly.
Despite it looking shorter than some of the newer kits in the game, it took me like 13
Bro, she
business
glitches,
days
bro.
of reading to actually comprehend anything this character does. TikTok may have rotted my
No more
brain, but
Praetorian
if nothing
Golem.
else, I can put stupid memes in my videos now. Oh, also, look at her
Versus-
charge attack. That's pretty cool. Down. Arlecchino plays with this mechanic.
Man, just put Sephiroth's theme in there.
Of course.
Oh my god.
Called Bond of Life, which is a mechanic that you have to essentially out-heal to begin actually healing your character. But in Arlecchino's case,
That's
you
how I
can
felt
actually
when I
throw
saw her
all
with
of
the
that
one
out
wing.
the window. It has been
It's like,
almost
"Body,
5 years, and hoyoverse still isn't beating the Nerf Bennett allegations. When Arlecchino has a Bond of Life
saying.
above 30% and uses a
Let
charge
me
attack,
go.
she gets a Pyro Infusion on her basic attack combo. Every time you hit an enemy with the Pyro Infusion, it deals high damage, scaling off of her attack and the Bond of Life that she has.
Where the hell
And
is the
every
boss?
time an attack
Look at
connects, her
us.
Bond of Life decreases. Once it's below 30%, it falls off. Much like my
There you
views.
go.
Much like a
One more
strict
farm
and
chat, and I'm
unfeeling
getting off
father,
this
her damage is incredibly front-loaded. The longer she's on field, the lower her damage will become. But regardless, her damage is pretty solid. One thing to know about Bond of Life is that your full HP bar is actually worth 200% Bond of Life, not 100%. I'm not really sure why they have the full HP bar be 200%, but it is what it is. Basically, 30% is gonna look a lot smaller than it is, but I promise you it's above average, okay? It's not even that small. To get Bond of Life, you have to use her skill, which marks enemies hit with a blood debt because that's how Mafia works. Her skill generates 5 pyro energy particles, and the mark deals damage every 5 seconds up to 2 times. When you charge attack and enemies have a mark on them, Arlecchino absorbs the mark, which gives her a 65% Bond of Life for every enemy the mark is absorbed from, up to a max of covering her HP by 145%. So basically, you'll never max out Bond of Life to 200% from just her skill. With that said, one of her passives makes it so that after 5 seconds of a mark have passed on an enemy, she can actually gain 130% Bond of Life on that enemy instead of just a 65, meaning that you can almost completely max it out even in single
Nice.
target.
Yeah.
That same passive gives Arlecchino a 130% Bond of Life upon defeating an enemy, meaning that the more small enemies she has to tear through, the more damage she'll deal overall due to higher Bond of
Yeah,
Life.
almost
Remember,
done.
the higher Bond of Life
I'm
you have, the
basically
more
almost
damage
done
you do,
getting
and
her
it just
to-
slowly decreases as your Bond of Life decreases. If you use her
Level
skill
90, I
and then
guess I'll
start
90
an
her by
R&R
tomorrow.
world quest, chances are the skill
However,
won't be off
80,
cooldown by the
I
time
just
you're
need to
done. So we're pretty
farm more
lucky
of
that
those.
whenever she
I need to go to people's worlds and farm those freaking golems. What are you cooking with her?
Talking to me?
Oh, Azumi was asking what am I cooking.
Oh, what you
I'm
cooking?
doing Yelan Shincho Zhongli. I like this the most. I don't want to deal with having to use Kazuha's Sorrels. I just want to double hydro it, to be honest. Yeah, it's a solid combo. Easy shield, lots of hydro. I'm just going here. I may not be vaping as much as Hutao, but goddamn, I'm melting these enemies. Diluc and her would be on separate teams.
Yeah, that's
Oh, thank you. I eat Pokemon cookies. Thank you.
what
Wait,
happened.
is that what you saw? Wait, Pokemon cookies. Is that what you saw? Like soul dead ass? I'm sorry.
What?
Oh no! Did he type that a million times?
Wait, what happened?
Somebody in my chat was constantly asking the same question, and I was way too into the gameplay.
Oh no.
So so they kept repeating themselves until I saw it.
What was the question?
I don't think I ever even saw it. So I'm sad. D1, did you enjoy the character? Congrats, D1, you enjoy the character? Hey, how are you? Oh man, you guys are such trolls.
Oh
Anyway,
my God.
yeah, I'm doing Arlecchino Yellow and
Staring into my eyes
Very
is
fun team.
ill-advised.
Yeah.
For Diluc, I would say if you're playing Diluc, so
This is Bond of Life
honestly,
from attacking. Her skill
here's a
cooldown
Diluc
is
team
reduced.
for you, Azumi.
Also, after using her
Diluc,
burst, her skill
Bennett,
cooldown gets reset.
and then you
which
could put,
brings
like,
us to her burst. I'm not
I
sure
guess
the
you could
lore
put Shincho
implications
if you
of this,
want,
but I'm
right?
fairly certain
You could put Shincho,
Arlecchino
you
has
could put
glass
Yellow,
bones
you
and
could
paper
put,
skin. If something so much as looks at her funny, she falls over and
What else
dies.
would you
But with her
recommend,
burst, she can
Diluc
heal a
with a double
massive
Hydra.
chunk of her HP. But
Diluc with
unfortunately, they forgot
Yeah,
to give her
against Diluc,
knife.
Shanyun.
Her other passive gives her up to
Shincho,
20% resistance
done.
based on her
See ya.
attack, which is incredibly helpful for the 3 enemies in the game that don't one-shot you.
Yeah,
And
how are ya?
lastly, forgot to give her
Oh, he said
knife.
it twice. Yikes. All right,
Her
that's a lot of Genshin, guys. This is more Genshin than I'd ever.
other passive gives her up to 20%
Ever
resistance
streamed,
based
but
on her
this
attack,
was one
which
of
is
the best Genshin
incredibly
days.
helpful
I'm fucking stoked.
for the 3 enemies in the game that don't one-shot you. And
JamBuds.
lastly, she gets
What's up?
Oh, he's watching a video. Let me let him study.
40% pyro damage, because, okay, why not? If you passed out mid-explanation, then I suggest you go back to the beginning, so I can farm ad revenue. But here's the main bit of what
Shiza.
you need to know. I recommend playing Arlecchino with a rotation of EQE, or Skill Burst skill. Then rotate through your supports, then charge attack on Arlecchino to get her
What a
infusion.
day.
After that, you'll spam normal attacks until you're ready to rotate through supports again. The reason to play in this order is that her first skill can give energy and dish out damage, and then her burst can dish out even more damage and heal her. It also lets you funnel energy better. The second skill will mark enemies and allow Arlecchino to collect deaths and get her Bond of Life and Pyro Infusion after she charged attacks, which is why you want to rotate
Alright,
through
chat.
your supports first. Because
You know,
after
BOD
using that
JamBuds,
second
if I just
skill, by
rolled
rotating
and
through your
got
supports,
another
you'll
Arlecchino.
Why do
We're
we?
not doing that, right,
yeah,
JamBuds?
yeah. I don't know why you're doing that. Yeah.
We're not doing that.
Yeah, I don't know why you're. Yeah, you shouldn't do that now.
I'm not doing
allowing 5
Yep.
seconds to pass, which is going to increase the
Oh,
bond of life she
radish.
gets from enemies from 65% to 130%.
Are you enjoying the character?
This is
Don't
especially
know
helpful in
why.
single
Alright, let's
player.
test
Once
this.
you've rotated through your
Actually,
supports and that 5 seconds
I know
has
my
passed,
brother's
you go
here.
back to Arlecchino,
What
use
a
your
ready
charge
show.
attack, get the
Let's,
Pyro
let's
Infusion,
do a
and
quick
go
little
ahead.
test
As for
for
talent
Rumi.
priority, I recommend
She's
leveling
not
her
fully-
basic attack
she's not
as
a full
high as
power
you
yet.
can
She's
before
666.
anything else, since that's an overwhelming
gonna
majority
do
of her
Yellow
damage.
and
And
Shincho
next
Zhongli.
up, let's talk about what mines you're going to be stuck in for the next 3 months. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, guys. I've completely checked out on artifacts for this game because once you've played for 4 years, you kind of just give anyone 2-piece damage bonus set and call it good. For Arlecchino, there's a few sets you have that can dish out solid damage. Her best in slot set is the new Fragment of Harmonic Whimsy set, which gives 18%
Hey, how
attack
are
for
ya?
2-piece and up to a
I feel bad
54%
because
total damage
the
bonus.
worst
when
part
Bond
is
of
Hey,
Life
how are ya
increases or
doesn't even know
decreases.
that
It
we're,
stacks quickly
memeing
with Arlecchino and makes it
at
easily
all.
her best option. With that said, though, if you don't want to be farming forever, Gladiator's
Like, when I
Finale
get
is a set
asked,
that
"Hey, how
most
are you?" I'm like,
players
"I'm
will
good,
have
just
after
chilling at
playing
home."
for a while. It gives a big damage bonus to normal attacks, which
Yo,
is a majority
push.
of Arlecchino's damage.
Hey,
It
push.
also has an attack bonus. on
Brother,
the
man,
2-piece.
I'd give
If
you a
have
big
good
dap.
stats on that set, it's
Like,
really worth it.
super
Other
big
sets that work are Gilded
brotherly
Dreams
handshake.
and
Thank you
mixed
so
pyro
much,
damage
man.
and attack percent set. As for
Thank you
stats,
again.
I recommend going with attack percent
Damn,
sands,
man.
pyro damage goblet, and
I said
a crit
it's
rate or
OV
damage
music,
circlet.
man.
You can also
Don't you
opt
ever
for
forget
elemental
it.
mastery sands and double hydra setups, but for more general, just
Thanks,
gamers,
man.
I guess, attack percent sands will be a little more consistent. As for
All I
energy
gotta say is
recharge,
thanks,
I like to
and then-
have around
I would say if you're running EM buffer on the team, just stick to attack, guys. Right, just stick to attack. You could use EM if you're
Yeah,
running
stick to
vape,
attack.
but I think if you're not running Bennett and you're a big attack buffer and you're running vape, then just stick to attack. Like I'm gonna run Kazuha, dude. I'll run Kazuha, so I don't need to run a EM Sans, as it makes sense to do that. Let me see. Let me go get Yelan.
Who's our target this time?
And I guess we'll use...
What shall we do?
You know what's funny, too? no one. I haven't seen anyone mention this yet, but actually the rainbow resonance is actually fine for her, because she'll have more. She'll get a little bit tankier. So it's actually the only character I've actually thought like, okay, maybe rainbow resonance is fine. You know what I mean?
What's rainbow resin mean?
Rainbow resonance.
Yeah.
Yeah, the protective canopy is like 4 unique elements, which gives you all elemental res 15% and physical res plus 15%. So you take less damage from elemental attacks and physical attacks, 15%. Which is like, okay, cool. I'm running a shield, so that probably doesn't matter as much, but maybe it does if you're running Xingqiu in or Zhongli, right? Because maybe the shield, I think, takes less damage as a result. So I'm looking at this. Zhongli doesn't need to really use his burst at all. Kazu will be doing a lot of skilling. Arlecchino doesn't really want to use the burst that much at all. Yelan will be using her burst quite often, so I switched her weapon to energy recharge weapon. Yeah, this is fine. This will work just fine. Why does it sound like I'm trying to like cope? I don't know. Let me do this. Alright, cool.
The damage is definitely there. We're not full power yet.
Yeah,
Wait.
we're not.
120%, and most of the
It's
time
there.
the burst is ready each
And this is
rotation.
just the
But
beginning.
For vape teams, or just depending on if you have Pavonis users in your team, your ER requirements can increase or decrease, and I would say for vape specifically, you might have to go up to 140%. As usual, you want a 1 to 2 crit ratio.
Rainbow
or crit
does
rate
sound
per
pretty
damage.
lit,
Here's
though.
a build summary for Arlecchino, and I wish you
Let me try
luck in the
Rainbow now.
lines.
Let's try.
The most hype thing for me about
Let's
Arlecchino,
try.
aside from her Fate Heavensfield reference, is the fact that we finally have our first Scythe user in the game.
Yes.
Unfortunately, to get it, you're gonna have to pull on the weapon banner. Okay, Google, how do I escape student debt? Crimson Moon's Semblance is her best in slot for the Bond of Life and the other effects it gives, but also for the drill.
Oh yeah, push.
It's an
I just said
insanely
screw
cool
it.
weapon with a high power
I'll
spike.
push
With that said,
a
she
little
absolutely
extra.
doesn't need it.
I
There
threw
are
an
decent
extra
4-star
10 in
options
there.
for her, and she can still pull
That's
pretty
a
solid
deluxe,
damage.
man.
But I, for one, will be
Screw
pulling
it.
because
We're
it
staying
looks
in all
really
weekend.
cool, even though I'm really mad.
Crap,
about it.
actually, I
The
have a
next
friend
best
that's
thing is
gonna be
gonna
doing a
Jade
music
Spear or
performance.
Staff of the Scarlet
Think he
Sands,
invited
depending
me
on
to
your
go,
team.
but-
Both give a ton of crit,
Hey,
which
man.
is really helpful for building your DPS. Dragon's Bane at high refinement is
the game's
great
gonna
in
be goblin.
vaporized teams, and Deathmatch is a fantastic 4-star option for low spenders. For free-to-play players, if you can save up for a Black Cliff, it's pretty solid, and Prospector's
excited.
Drill, Ballad of the Fjords, or is
Yeah, I
that
went all the way,
Forge?
push. I
To be
went all the way,
honest,
man.
I don't really know. And White Tassel are also going to be decent. Here's some weapon comparisons, just so you can get an idea of what to expect for Arlecchino. Keep in mind
Moon's Crescent Semblance, okay. Yeah, it looks like Jade Winged Spear is definitely her second best weapon outside of her personal. It's actually a pretty decent jump, actually, from Jade Winged Spear, even though I said that. That's actually insane. It's better than Staff of Homa. Jade Winged Spear is better than Staff of Homa significantly.
Yeah, I could see that.
Well, it's not significant in Vaporized. It's like a 1% difference, it looks like. And then 3% in Overload. But there's like a huge jump between Jade Spear and her signature weapon. Like, Jesus Christ, like 30%. According
Yeah, I can see
to
that.
Brax. According to Brax. Just gotta point that out.
these comparisons aren't perfect
Yeah, man.
and depend on
Thank
your
you,
team
Push, man.
composition
It's
and
gonna
rotation.
be-
So your results
Hey,
could
if
be
you guys
different.
don't know, man, push is one of the reasons why this joint gets more and more lit, dude.
Why does he have Kirby music in his video for Arlecchino?
As far as Arlecchino goes, she's actually your normal vaporized carry sometimes, but she has some other teams that work out very well in terms of overall damage and just having some different units to use from your normal pyro team setups. For example, some of her stronger teams actually use Overload. Now here's one example with Chevreuse, Bennett, and Fischl. And technically speaking, there's a lot of different characters that you can slot in here, but the main point is to have Arlecchino and Chevreuse.
I don't know why I thought
Technically go
Chevreuse
with
was
Yamiko
Electro.
and that's also fine. But
You're
the idea is
silly.
obviously you want to use Overload reactions
But I've had that
while
happen
also
too.
getting buffs from Chevrus. And if you play Bennett, you can also get attack buffs too. But the nice thing is you don't actually have to do that. You don't have to play Circle Impact. If you want to play Yai Official, that's also fine. And the reason this actually works is because Arlecchino's range with her normal attacks is actually pretty high. With smaller enemies, at least, the ones that would get blown back by Overload and the
think
ones
it's
that would
fine
fly away from you,
to
she kind
make
of
mistakes
like
like that.
juggles them a little bit. She kind of picks them up. And because she's able to carry enemies like that, it makes it a lot easier for you to get away with playing Overload to get that extra AoE damage, but still hit the enemies. Now, there are a couple weird interactions. Like, I've seen instances where she'll literally just throw enemies behind you and then it's like hoyover. But for the most part, this is actually a pretty fun team, and it finally gives you an excuse to play Overload outside of just Overvape. Now, could you play Overvape? The answer is yes, but then Chevrus
nuts.
goes out the window, and Bennett goes out the window. You
I'm
could just play
sad.
like double Hydro if you wanted to, or you could play one
I'm
Hydro
getting
and a
interrupted.
Flex character.
It's a little
Arlecchino's
faster.
Vaporize combos are not as straightforward as some of the other Pyro characters. I mean, she's gonna Vaporize and deal high damage, and her normal attacks do enough damage to like make Vaporize still very good, but it's not gonna be perfect combos like every other time. However, with that said, Arlecchino and double Hydro can be very strong, and I just put Kazuha in here as a flex. Obviously, if you can swirl either one of these elements, or both even preferably, you're gonna dish out a lot of damage. But one thing that I have not yet mentioned in the team section is that Arlecchino is actually incredibly squishy. So despite these teams being some of her best options for damage, with this one specifically shining in single target, because she can't actually gain any heals from Bennett, Chevrus, or Xingqiu, she kind of just falls over and dies if you take one hit from an enemy. That's not an exaggeration at all. Some enemies will literally one-shot you. Now, I will say most enemies in the game probably aren't going to one-shot you. She does have some resistances, and as long as you're above 75% HP, most you're probably taking is 60%, but some enemies will just absolutely decimate you, and that's not very fun. Even with the damage reduction from Xingqiu, I have been one-shot. So what I found to be most comfy, despite these teams being very strong, is playing Arlecchino with Zhongli. Many players have kind of put Zhongli on the back line just because there's so many great healers in the game, and you have some new shielders as well that can Dendro reactions. So many
He's
people
mentioning Zhongli as a prime support due to her lack of healing ability, which is like, you know, that's like a dumb moment for a lot of people. Should be.
back line. There hasn't been a super big
sounds like
use
it
case
makes you
for him with
sad.
a lot of the newer
It
characters.
looks like an old Hu Tao team. Zhongli, double Hydro, and then a Pyro DPS, which is, yeah, you can do that. That'll do a lot of damage.
Characters, and that's totally fine. The benefits that Zhongli brings you in this team, or in any one of these teams without Chevrus, is that not only does he protect Arlecchino from getting one shot and help your combos not get interrupted, but he also lowers enemy resistances with a shield.
I didn't
So with
even know
that
where
said,
it was.
I actually really enjoy playing Zhongli, especially because I've been playing HSR so long that I kind of forgot how to dodge. But with that said, if you don't have skill issue, it's fine. You don't actually need him, and you can get more damage. The two characters I want to make note of that you probably don't want to play Arlecchino with, actually, this one isn't specifically a character. You probably want to dodge playing Arlecchino and Virgin. Because Arlecchino can only heal with herself, and therefore negates things like Bennett heals and Chevrus heals. Any other healing that you would be normally getting from Virgin that would help you sustain yourself is kind of out the window. Arlecchino can heal herself to some extent, but if you're constantly taking chip damage from Virgin, that means that you are quite literally always in range of death, and it doesn't feel very effective, so personally, I would not play these two together. Or specifically a Virgin team. I just put Nahida here as an example. Now, the last character that I would avoid...
Unless you use a shielder. Unless you use a shielder, so... You can do a Virgin team, but you gotta run a shielder. Obviously.
And the reason for that is that unless you have C2 Farina, which basically increases your fanfare stacks that you get from her like drastically, the benefit you're going to get to Arlecchino actually isn't that high. Odds are Arlecchino's not going to be full HP all the time. She'll probably be sitting at around 80 or 70% after her heals, which ends up being fun most of the time. But for Farina, who actually gives your team bonuses based off of their HP draining, it basically puts Arlecchino always in death range, and she's only able to heal with herself, which means that a lot of the time, Farina's bonus won't actually be as useful as just running someone like Yidlan, for example. That's not to say that your account explodes and people break down your door if you play these two together, but I personally wouldn't recommend it unless you have C2 Farina. Unlike my dad, I don't feel like Father is super restrictive. She has a lot of team comps she can play in, it's just that healing does end up getting a little less useful, and she's always in death range, it feels like, so characters like Zhongli, or even in Overload if you wanted to play Toma, would also be very good. And the very last note I want to make is that obviously, that Banner made some suggestions. Rip Chevrus Waters and hello Xiangling mates. Of everyone we've seen till now, Father is definitely one of the most anticipated arrivals. I would know. I've waited 26 years. With everyone being hyped for Arlecchino, I wanted to go over her constellations and what is and isn't worth it for spenders. First off, her Constellation 1 gives her a straight up 100% multiplier increase on her basic attack scaling whenever it's enhanced. To make sure there's no confusion on this, I'm talking about the multiplier increase she gets when she has her Pyro Infusion. Her Pyro Infused basic attack multiplier kinda works like Yunjin buff, so adding another 100% to it is pretty crazy. C1 also gives interrupt resistance, which means part of the reason to use a shield is also gone. Super good value for a C1. Constellation 2 deletes the 5-second rule from the game. Now, Arlecchino's marks instantly have the full effect after they're applied. Whenever she absorbs a mark, she procs her burst, which will dish out a ton of damage and give her a heal. The burst proc is 900%.
Wait, it heals?
What?
Oh wait, no, it doesn't heal. What are you talking about? I'm trying to. He's talking about Constellation 2 right now.
Also gone. Super good value for a C1. Constellation 2 deletes the 5-second rule from the game. Now, Arlecchino's marks instantly have the full effect after they're applied. Whenever she absorbs a mark, she procs her burst, which will dish out a ton of damage and give her a heal. The burst proc...
Oh, that's why. When she absorbs a Blood Debt Dew from her C2, she basically pops the free ult, is what they're saying. And the ult is what heals. So she gets a 900 damage bomb, percent damage bomb, that also heals her. That's so stupid.
Bro, she's kind of OD.
That's kind of dumb.
Is 900% of her attack, but that attack multiplier also gets applied to her charged attack that procs the effect in the first place. I'm not really sure why it does that, if that's a media server issue or something, but we'll find out in like 20 minutes probably when someone wails. Her resistances also get an increase, and overall the damage addition from C2 is pretty solid. C2 and C1 combined are going to make it pretty easy to play her without a shield. Arlecchino's C3 is a normal attack increase.
So if you get C2, then it's going to be really easy to play her without a shield, apparently. Because you're going to be able to heal off of without going into her ult. And she gets interruption resistance and a massive steroid to her infusions, her infused normal attacks, and additional defense, additional res, elemental and physical res, additional interrupt resistance.
Minutes probably when someone wails. Her resistances also get an increase, and overall the damage addition from C2 is pretty solid.
Dang, man.
C2 and C1 combined are going to make it pretty easy to play her without...
If I had it, I would go for C2 just because I like her so much.
Arlecchino's C3 is a normal attack increase. Thank God. C4 is a cooldown decrease and energy gain on Arlecchino's burst whenever you absorb her mark. It can only activate every 10
If I could have, I would have liked to go for
C2.
C2.
Much for her gameplay, but it technically lets you run no ER on her, which is good. C5 is a burst level increase, and C6 is a damage increase based on Arlecchino's burst. It basically gives her more Bond of Life damage scaling on her burst, which affects her normal usage and her C2 procs. C6 also gives her normal attacks and burst 10% crit rate and 70% crit damage, which is absolutely disgusting. From my experience, C0 Arlecchino is really solid.
Get anybody in our Discord?
You don't need constellations at all. But for those of you
C2? I have no idea.
with an extra kidney lying around to sell, her C6 is pretty crazy. Between her weapon and her C1, the choice is pretty obvious. Pick the sight that looks so fucking cool! The weapon banner is pretty bad in my opinion, just because of the 2 weapons and 75-25 combo. So if you have less pulls but want to go in on Arlecchino, it's probably safer to go for her constellations. Damage-wise, C1 and R1 are pretty comparable. Her weapon isn't super useful on other characters compared to some of the other pull arms, but her constellations also can't be used on other characters because they belong to her, so you can either pick safety for your pulls or you can pick drip. Let me know if Father comes home in the comments, and I'll catch you next time.
How far I could get in Spiral Abyss with her.
Yeah. Alright, let's try Spiral Abyss one more time, chat. Spiral Abyss 12. Okay. Make sure the team's ready to go. Zhongli, Yelan, Kazuha with Favonia's sword. Honestly, I might not even... Yeah, we'll keep Favonia's sword. Okay, that's fine. Alright.
Yeah, I'm doing like Zhongli,
Zhongli. You, Kazuha to shred Pyro. Yelan. Okay, and then the second half, who do I want to use?
Oh, spooky. Alright. Yeah, I'm playing her. I put her on the second half. And so far, I'm doing it.
Yeah, put on the second half too. Who do I want to use in the first half?
You good, man?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out who I want to use in the first half. I could probably just use Raiden Shogun. Yeah, I can use Raiden. I haven't did this team in a minute.
Dang it.
Should be fine. Alright, let's do this, guys.
There is no escape. Everybody stand back. Witness the power of Guhua. Guba, get them. You're toast. Inazuma shines eternal. Off we go. Let me weave you a verse. Huh? I'm going in. Eat this. Torn to oblivion. Shine down. Get them. Venture time. Let's light it up. No, my sword. Witness the power of Guhua. Rain out. Let my guard down. Everybody stand back. Huh? You're toast. Now you shall perish. How inconsiderate of me. Let my magic begin. There is no escape. Nice and spicy. Let's light it up. No, my sword. Let me weave you a verse. Rain outlines your teamwork is dreamwork. Inazuma shines eternal. Get them. Shine down.
You're welcome, only first.
Why do they never miss? Let's light it up. At the frying pan. Torn to oblivion. Give my disgrace. There is no escape.
Took a sweet time.
Stabilize.
Overruled.
Witness my rise. Laid bare. Clouds high. The birds call. Wind strike.
Quake.
Gotcha. Game's up. Fun's over. Busted.
Oh my god. I threw. I looked to the side. I was done. I didn't even max her out yet, but I could clear.
Everybody stand back! Witness the power of Guhua. Know my soul. Guba, get them! Inazuma shines eternal. Shine down. Nice and spicy. Let's light it up.
Oh shit, I didn't realize.
Rain outlines your fate. Huh?
Yo, what up, Mega?
Teamwork is dreamwork. You're toast. Torn to oblivion.
Mega.
Illusion shattered. Adventure time. Let me weave you a verse. Know my sword. Shine down. Everybody stand. Did I scare you? Roba, get them. Let's light it up. Now you shall perish.
Oh, PS5. Sick. It's here. Let's go.
Nice and spicy. Fancy that? Teamwork is dreamwork. Witness the power of Gawai. Rain outline. Let's light it up. Inazuma shines eternal.
Solidify.
Transfixed, everlasting as the moon. Wind strike. Fallen leaves. Adorn my...
Quietly now. Here comes the catch.
Gather.
Laid bare. Clouds high. The birds come.
I will have order.
This is where it's fun.
Gotcha. Things are about to get dicey.
I didn't put the mark.
Yeah, this is
Damn.
stupid. Okay, let me try it again.
I'm Sag. I didn't put the marks earlier. Yeah,
Yeah.
JamBuds. That she's yeah, I just finished.
There is
I
no
did one
escape.
side with my Nicolette team. And the other side with my Arlecchino. That's
Everybody
like
stand back.
666.
Rain cutter. You're toast. Now you shall perish.
She's right there. She's right there, Mega Kabutops. Right on the screen. We just finished the Spiral Abyss test. She's C0. She's sitting down on the chair right there. C0, R1, 666 talents. C0, R1, 80 levels on her weapon and the character.
Light it up.
Talents
Illusion shattered.
666. Which scares me because once I actually crown her, I'm probably never going back to Hu Tao again, bro. I don't think I'm gonna go back to Hu Tao. It's wrapped. I think I have a decent idea of my rotations now. It's E, then go through my supports within the 5 second time frame that you mentioned, so that I could is it 0.5 seconds or 5 seconds?
It takes 5 seconds for the blood debt to
Yes.
get to devolve.
Yeah, 5 seconds. So 5 seconds after I press my E, I go through all my different rotations, my E's, my Q's, whatever. And once I'm done with that, I switch back to her. I charge attack. I do my rotation. I'm trying to figure out. I'm gonna make. It feels like I had for the most part, a feel of how long I want my rotations to be, because I tried to time it. I tried to time my rotations around when I would think my other supports would come back around.
Yeah.
So basically once I'm doing my, let's see, so just to get a better idea. Talent, skills up 4, skills up 4. How long is the skill up for?
You mean the cooldown of the skill?
Not the cooldown, like when you infuse your last 30 seconds.
It lasts as long as you have Bond of Life until it's under 30%.
So once Bond of Life is gone, it's gone.
Once Bond of Life is at 30%, it's gone.
Okay, so it's my Bond of Life. Yeah, I noticed that once it's basically, once Bond of Life is gone, then I reapply my E, or I alt then E, and then I go to my rotation. Depends on like whether or not the cooldown is. I only ult if I realize I need to get my E back immediately. But yeah, for the most part, I try to make sure that I apply E, get her off field, get all my stuff up, and then I bring her back to do her charge attack, and then I go ham and I see the numbers get bigger. As long as we cast E, get her off field, and then let all our supports do the talking, and then she comes back, charge attacks, and we just mash left click. And it's so comfy to do it with Zhongli's shield. It's so comfy. I have a Zhongli with tenacity and triple HP. I don't really care about his damage, so I have tenacity, triple HP, and you know, the resistance of that, the constant hydro application. Even though I may not be vaping all the water, all the hydro that's being applied, the vapes do happen, and double hydro is really comfy anyway, right?
Yeah.
We also get more HP, so that's kind of nice.
Stabilize.
Wind strike.
Overall, yeah, it's been the first time in a while that I've character that wasn't complete, but I could feel that her power level is pretty good. She feels like a character I will be playing a lot. Very comfy, chill, who's out. Oh shit. Sorry. Well, overall, this was a really fun. I enjoyed this character a lot more than I enjoyed Hu Tao. Hu Tao's a powerhouse. Let's not even get it twisted. She's an extremely strong character that still does what she does. I just like that when I play with Father, you know, her normal attacks go all over the place, right? So that's great. I like being able to just like, I like that it just feels easier to hit multiple people with her. She does a lot of damage very easily. She feels like a very low, a very entry-level Hu Tao. All you need to do is just understand when to do her skill and whether or not you need to do her ult at all, because it can be a DPS loss if misused, right? But overall, like, it's you put on her E, you get her off field, you do all her skills, and then use charge attack. Now her sword is her weapon's infused with pyro. You just keep left clicking, and
Rain
you have fun.
outlines your
Just,
fate. Everybody
she's
stand
so
back.
fun.
Let me weave you a verse.
Absolutely fun.
Inazuma
I'm
shines
happy.
eternal.
Now I gotta figure out who I wanna. What about JamBuds? Can I pick your brain?
What's up?
When it came to the videos that you watched, what did they say about Melt?
Didn't even mention him, dude.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. So
Yeah, and I tried it. It didn't feel that great either.
Rain outlines your fate. Rain cut.
Yeah.
Now you shall perish.
But yeah, man. Welcome, guys.
There is no
Feel
escape.
free to join the Discord if you guys would like to join the
Everybody
Discord.
stand back.
This was a massive Genshin haul today.
No, my sword.
I felt like an
Witness the
actual
power of
Genshin
Guwa.
streamer today, dude.
Inazuma shines eternal.
Like, today was my day. I'm still live,
Adventure
but I definitely want to switch gears, chat. I want to switch gears a little bit to stay ahead of you guys are into action games. We'll do more Genshin tomorrow, promise. But let me give you an idea. For those that want to see my builds for Spiral
Now you
Abyss,
shall perish.
so I just beat Spiral Abyss. Prototype Ember 90 out of 90. Is Nervalet 41.9 to 24.4.
Shine down.
PR 12.3. Let's not talk about it because we got this bad boy. Prototype Ember helps with our energy. I have 4-piece Martial C. Con 0. Talents 10.77. We have Nahida, who I think I gave her. I think I gave my Nahida. Like, I know Sack Frag is not the greatest thing to put on her in comparison to some other stuff, but because I mainly am using her for Hyper Bloom, I just put Sack Frags on her because sometimes there are moments where the passive does help when dealing with multi waves.
Stabilize.
I noticed that I'll show you Mega. So here's my Nahida 61.4, 131.6, 121, 126 ER, weapon sack frag. But I also sometimes try out Lost Prayer, or I also like to give her Will Smith as well. Will Smith works out pretty well. So
Overrule. This is where you
my Will
fall.
Smith.
Transfix. Busted.
Give me a second, chat. I know.
As one with wind and cloud. Wind strike.
There it is, Will Smith. All right, cool. He said, "Where's Jada?" Speaking of Jada, I actually have sacrificial Jade right here. I'm dead. Anyway, I usually put my Raiden on that team, but I wanted to give my team a little bit more survivability. So I put Fab Sword on my 80/80 Kirishima. This is bad. I usually have more crit rate on that, but what do I do here? I'm actually laughing. Oh, I just gave her EM. Yeah, I probably try to make her more Hyper Boom focused. Talent 1, 11, 10. What else? Last but not least, my Dia. Sack Great Sword. Oh yeah, my cookie's like C6. Sorry about that. C6 cookie, C1 Dia, Sack Great Sword, 59.4. I just use her literally as a means to keep me alive. 699. Artie's Burkosh and Tenacity. So as you can see, I put a lot of HP for damage mitigation. Next, the other side. I guess we'll work backwards. My Zhongli is a little bit weird. I kind of just only want him to have like Tenace, to be honest. So I think he has. I think that's what he has here. Artifacts for his Tenace. I think it's crit rate, HP. Yeah, I just wanted him to shield, to be honest. I don't really care about damage. Sack Sword, C6. My Zhongli C1. C6 here. 5, 12, 13. Artie's Noblesse, 2-piece Heart of Death. 4-piece Viridescent. 919 PM. I'm trolling with my Kazuha because I didn't even use him, so I don't know why I'm showing. Did I use him? No, I didn't use him. I used Yellow. My Kazuha, I should put Fab on him. I know there's probably somebody there, like punching their keyboard, with their, gritting their teeth. Why doesn't he have Fab on him? As overkill 919. I don't know. I like Iron Skin, I guess. Fab Warbow. Emblem of Severed Fate. 60.4, 130.9, 4.7, 1010, C0. Oh wait, and then last but not least, our father. 666, C0, R1, 80 out of 80, 80 out of 80, 64.8, 21.6, ER 111, doesn't matter, yes, also Gen set. For these Gladiators finale, I don't even feel incentivized, chat, honestly, to even use her best in slot artifact set. How about you, JamBuds? Thoughts?
4-piece Gladiator is doing fine.
I can't hear you.
4-piece Gladiator is doing fine for me.
Yeah, 4-piece Gladiator is doing fine. So for those out there that are like new to the game and wondering why I would go 4-piece Gladiator, well, if the wielder of the artifact uses a sword, claymore, or polearm, our normal attack damage increases by 35%. All we're doing with the character is spamming normal attack. I see no reason for me to change. I think best in slot is probably that bond of whatever, but
yeah, it definitely is.
Gladiators is cooking. What up, Color? I
What's up,
couldn't
Kai?
say my day of senses were tingling. Color, we just did a Spiral Abyss test, and I did my Nervalet team on the one side. And funny enough, my Nervalet team, when I was playing, there were a couple times where I messed up a little bit because I wasn't using Raiden. Usually when I play Raiden, I clear really fast. Since I was playing Cookie Shinobu, I had to play a little closer to trigger Hyper Bloom, and it made it a little bit of a tougher run. Because I had to be very tight with my kiting. But anyway, with that said, when I was playing with Nervalet, it felt a little more difficult. But I went a little overtime. Like if it was supposed to end at 8:30, it ended like right on instead of ending at 9 or 8:45, it ended at 8:30 or 8:20. So I went into the other side thinking, oh shoot, my 80 out of 80 Arlecchino is about to struggle on the other side with Yellen and Shincho with Zhongli. We tried out, and Yellen, Shincho, and Zhongli kind of just cleared with Arlecchino. So I was like, yeah, this is comfortable. She's actually, and we also learned, Color, that you want to apply the E first, and within 5 seconds, 5 seconds is where you get like the max, like, 5 seconds you want to pass, right? So you E, and in 5 seconds you go through all your rotations, and then once you're done with that, you swap back to a charge attack, and then you just profit. Done. Like, I don't even need to, like, yeah, she's fun. She's a very fun character. She feels like a very accessible Hu Tao. Or if the enemy whom is marked dies. Yeah.
And
yeah, she's fun.
And she's like, she's similar to Hu Tao, but she also doesn't have to run the same stuff. So that means if you have a Hu Tao, you can still technically run both, and they don't have to share stuff.
One side. Yeah, I could. Yes, JamBuds is right. I could literally run a rainbow team with Arlecchino. I could do like Arlecchino with like Shincho, and then like maybe Zhongli if I want, because I'll apply E, right?
Mm-hmm.
You said she's way more fun than Hu Tao. Well, the thing is, I do like Hu Tao. I like Hu Tao with Xianyun, Yellen, and Farina. At least Farina still has Hu Tao, right? So Hu Tao with Xianyun, Farina, and Yellen could be on one side, and the other side could be like Shincho and Zhongli, and I guess like I could go for a double pyro by having Bennett on field, and that, or I could just go for, and that'll give her like extra attack %, or I could just go with Kazuha for the 40% res shred. So yeah. Plunge, Lynette, you're wild. You like Xianyun for meme teams? I feel that. But yeah, overall, that was fun. That was great. Zhongli makes things extremely comfortable. Jesus.
Truge.
That was, I rarely ever randomly just decide, let's play Spiral Abyss, guys. Let's do a showcase. But I was so happy with today's haul that I was like, let's actually do it. So 80-80, 80-80, C0, 666. And yeah, 64, 216. Very good day. Very good day. Very good day. That was a Genshin grind, ladies and gentlemen. That was a Genshin grind. Can't wait to hear what the TCs have to cook, what they have to share. It's going to be fun. One for the books. All right. Good day. Good day, man. Good day. Bayo time. Bayonita.
Bayo time.
Yeah, I gotta play Bayo.
yeah, go ahead, man.
This was a lot of Genshin.
Yeah, it's a lot of Genshin.
Than I'd ever. I think one thing I'll probably do is maybe. Let me see. When I come back, I'll work on the rest of mine. We gotta avoid spoilers. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get her to 90, so I get more crit damage from her ascension, and then I'll worry about probably building her weapon next. Actually, today's Wednesday now, so.
Oh yeah, you have to do your DND streams.
D&D stream, yeah. But the reason why I brought that up is because I believe her mat for her weapon is today.
What?
The mats for her weapon is today.
Oh, so you're gonna cancel your D&D stream to get mats for weapons today?
No, I just.
Am I wild?
Yes.
Yeah.
O to the D.
O to the D.
All right. Yeah, I'll just teleport over there and then just let my resin build up. Yeah, I got the weapon too, man. That was crazy. I got lucky because we definitely did not have a guarantee at all. And you know how the weapon benders be like in Genshin. So I am definitely okay with this. At least we had a backup plan if it didn't work out. We did have a Jade Spear, so. But now I can give that back to Zhao. I don't have to borrow it from Zhao.
Beautiful.
Yeah. All right. I think I'm
going
to
to
call it now.
The rest of you guys who are hanging out in the stream had a very lucky day. And we're also blessed. to get father. If not, I'm very sorry that it didn't work out for y'all. But I hope you enjoyed the atmosphere of the stream. And if you guys are new here and are able to see the chat, please also follow my boy JamBuds, who is the co-host hanging out with me on the stream. Check his stream out. Very knowledgeable, passionate player, also a voice actor. Very much vouch for him. It's good peeps. Check out his stream. We are doing our best to continue to grind. We stream every day, so I do at least. So if you guys ever want to hang out and you like the vibes, you like the music, you like the games we play, feel free to drop a follow on the stream. Feel free to join the Discord. The Discord is available as well here. If you want to support your boy, my main grind is streaming now. I'm in between jobs, so a Twitch Prime or $4.99 does go a long way to help your boy keep on streaming. You know? So if you guys want to keep the streams going for us, you know, support does go a long way. Thank you to you guys for hanging out. We're gonna switch over to Bayonetta, and my spiel is over. Sorry for doing that. I forgot I was still live on your stream as well.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm actually about to rage because I'm gonna go to sleep now.
Gotcha.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that for you right now. Great, guys. It's been good times. Good times. We got a lot of work done with Arlecchino, and we got a really good Arlecchino already. So in the next few weeks, we'll be making the max. We'll be looking to max her out. But definitely, I'm gonna send you guys to D1 right now. So thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it. Have a good day, and as always, stay jamming.